Hello, family, friends, and fellow sojourners. When we were living in Canyon City and caring for that prisoner's baby, I was under a lot of stress. I wasn't getting enough rest. He still had drugs in his system. Took a long time for him to be cleared of that. But he woke me up every 2 hours for nearly 18 months. And I'm not the kind of person that can go back to sleep right away. So about the time I'd go back to sleep, he'd wake me up again. And I was in a lot of pain. I don't know if it was sleeping in a strange bed or exactly what was going on. Strange environment. It wasn't our home. But I kept complaining to my doctor, my GP, about what I was going through. And she knew our story, and she said, well, you're under so much stress. Once you're out from under the stress, you're going to feel a lot better. So I tended to ignore my pain. And she was not much help. She was an osteopath. So one time my back went out and I was bent over when I walked into her office, and she tried to manipulate my back, and all she did was throw me into spasms, and I wound up going to the hospital to get steroid injections. And so I should have known that she wasn't the person I was supposed to go to. But my sister recommended that I go see a doctor and see if he could figure out what was wrong with me. And when I went to him, he said, get up there on the table, and he said, I'm going to try something. Well, my husband used to rub my back and try and rub the knots out of my back, and he thought they were just tension knots or whatever. But every time he touched certain areas of my back, it would just make me cry out. It was so painful, like a horrible bruise, several spots in my back. And when this doctor got me up on this table, he started pushing in the same exact areas where my husband would try and rub these knots out. And he touched about 16 different points on my back, my hips, my arm, my elbows, my knees. And he said, I know what your problem is. He said, you have fibromyalgia. And then he didn't expound on that. He just handed me a brochure. And I remember going out to the car and reading the brochure, and all of the symptoms that I had been complaining about were in that brochure. And I started crying. I thought, finally, if someone believes me, this is not in my head, it's not psychosomatic, it's just that this is what fibromyalgia is. And my little sister had been diagnosed years ago, but I never really talked to her about it, and nor did I share my pain with her, because I was living in Canyon City at the time and she was living in Colorado Springs. So when I was in that rear-end car collision the first time, in my hailed caravan, my hailed-on caravan, that didn't seem to bother me because I thought the car's already has a lot of damage done to it, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But about an hour and a half later, I started really hurting, and I wound up going to the emergency room. And the doctor said to me, do you have any other physical issues? And I said, well, I have fibromyalgia. And the first thing he said was, well, what's that? This is really before fibromyalgia was a thing. So he gave me some pain pills and sent me on my way. But I was in a lot of pain because of that accident. So the second accident, rear-end collision that I had, did another number on me, and not only did it cause me to hurt more and more, it also I was experiencing flashbacks of being at the red light, and I started associating all red lights with pain, and I found out that I was suffering from PTSD. It was definitely, I would just have flashes of another accident, and I was just really hurting, not only physically but emotionally and even spiritually, because it was hard for me to keep my focus on the Lord and have a good positive attitude when I was in so much pain. But the next blog I'm going to explain to you what happened next and how the Lord ministered to me. So he's going to be praised till my dying day, no matter what. So God bless you. Take care.